So, what should you do first when you suspect there may be a spiritual root behind sickness? I'm Drew Kellerman, and today we're talking with Beatty Carmichael about where real healing often begins.
Well, that's a great question, Drew. So, what should you do first when you think that there's a spiritual root behind sickness? Just like my father-in-law, who used to be, he's deceased now, but he was an internal medicine doctor for 50 years. Um, when he thought he knew the problem to someone's, the solution to someone's problem and what the root cause of it was, he said, if it's this, then this solution will always work. So let's try this. And if they try this solution and this problem disappears, then he knew that that was the right route. And so when you think that there's possibly a spiritual root behind your sickness, first thing I would do is go on and try the proper spiritual solution. This is what we're going to talk about in just a moment on the prayer of freedom, but it's a really powerful way to get rid of spiritual roots behind issues in our lives that are persistent. And to share just briefly on that, I want to invite my friend Steve to come join us and share something that happened with him. So thank you, Steve, for coming on board.
Cool. Kira, Beatty, thank you. So I'm just going to share a quick story. So this was before I came across the Prayer of Freedom. I was scanning through YouTube and came across Beatty doing a talk around unforgiveness. And as I was watching and as I was listening, a migraine headache started to come on. And that kind of caught me by surprise. I thought that was pretty random. And after I finished watching the clip, I took some of the learnings, took some of the teachings, and I felt the Holy Spirit prompting me to forgive my my parents for some bitterness that I was still holding towards them. So I said a simple prayer. I repented of the unforgiveness, and it was quite incredible because the whole side of my face all started to go tingly. I had a migraine on that side, and it just dissipated and it went. And that caught me totally by surprise. I wasn't expecting that. And it's been probably about nearly 3 to 3.5 months. And the migraine headaches there's been twice that tried to come back again. And interestingly, it was when I had started to get caught back up in conversations with my siblings and perhaps maybe a bitterness way, in a way that wasn't forgiving. And that night I got a headache again. And again, as soon as I repented of that, I acknowledged that, I repented of it, and it just went straight away. I'd had migraine headaches probably for over 40 years. The doctors had told me it was from dairy products, from eggs, from cheese, could be from stress, it could be from a whole lot of things. Once I'd done the prayer of freedom, I actually, process of repenting, I knocked back 3 eggs, put 3 eggs onto the barbecue, knocked them back. And in the past, I would have got a migraine headache within 30 minutes, but no headache, totally healed. And I have been walking in the healing since. Give glory to Jesus and what he did on the cross. And the prayer of freedom, the design of, and the process, it works. I've been healed of migraines and loving it.
That's really great. So let me ask you a question on that, Steve. This is really cool. So you'd had migraines for a long time. Then you saw one of my shows, and I was talking about the power of unforgiveness, or the power of forgiveness, and the impact of it. When it disappeared, then you felt it come back. Your first response at that point was saying, this sounds like a spiritual root again, and so you forgave again. Right? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I did. And I'm actually really pleased because I could have easily kind of gone back down another road and just thought, it's not been healed, it's come back again. And so I was just really pleased that, I guess, through my relationship and through the teachings and the learnings and some of the stuff I picked up from you, and then as soon as I got caught up in unforgiveness again, and then just to see it instantly happen is just so reassuring. And it's pretty incredible.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing. What happens too, I see this all the time, is people say how instantly these things disappear. Instant may mean that it's just a couple of minutes. It may be in a couple of hours. But when you're dealing with something for 40 years, like Steve did with his migraines, or other people with other issues, then even if it takes 24 hours to go away, it's still pretty darn instant. So when you suspect something does have a spiritual root behind it, the first step is to address it that way. The prayer of freedom actually covers 18 different categories of spiritual roots, each one with its own different way of getting rid of it. But before I get into a little bit more on that, I just want to ask if you've ever felt like there may be a deeper reason behind the sickness that you've got and didn't know what to do next. Let me know in the comments. Comment a little bit on that. Love to hear from that and see what's going on. But as you do that, one of the things that I've found, so God sent me down this path about 10 years ago to understand healing from a biblical standpoint. And it doesn't matter whether you are a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, atheist, agnostic, because of what I'm finding is this creator that's out there, he created all of this, right? It doesn't matter what name we call him, we still know that we look to a creator that created this. And there's some rules, just like our physical world has physical laws. The same thing is in the spiritual world. There are spiritual laws in the spiritual world, and they impact us. So one of the things that I've learned to do is whenever I come across someone that has some sort of a sickness or an issue that's been persistent, this is the key, it's persistent in their life for a period of time. My first step is to always take them through the prayer of freedom. And while I wrote the book, The Prayer of Freedom, to both explain it, there's a very simplified process that you can go through. I mean, it's a chapter, it's chapter 12, but it's a step-by-step process to help you identify all the different types of areas where there could be spiritual roots in your life that could be impacting these things going on in your life as well. And it's just a simple process to go through. But I remember I was out someplace, and this guy we were sitting in a small group, and every time someone was talking, the guy would be leaning in his ear with his hand behind his ear like that. And I knew that he was mostly deaf because he was doing that. God prompted me to reach out to him after we visited our small group time. And his name is Dominic. So I said, Dominic, what happened with your ears? He said, well, I'm a Christian musician. And there was a loud explosion that somebody did against me about 10 years ago. Totally blew out my left ear. Totally deaf, no hearing at all. And about 90% deaf in his right ear. Without a hearing aid, he can't hear anything. And his hearing aid was bad right then. So that's why he was always leaning in like this. So I started to lead him through the understanding that a lot of times persistent issues, in this case deafness, could have a spiritual root. Now we look at them and we go, that can't be a spiritual root. It was an explosion. Boom, right? Blew out the eardrums. The doctor said it's all physical. But I'm finding that a lot of things that happen that have a very physical look about it may actually have a very spiritual aspect to it. So I led him through a process of the prayer of freedom, something that I do with people just on the fly and guiding them through this process. And in 20 minutes of guiding him through this process, both ears were 100% hearing. Just like this, just like your ears right now, assuming your ears are open. And the next day, I saw him on the street. He was about 100 feet away, maybe a little bit more. What's that, about 30 yards, 30 meters away. I said, hey, Dominic. And he said, hey, Beatty. Okay. He could hear me perfect. And all it was a spiritual root. So even when something doesn't feel like or sound like it could be spiritual, my first approach is always try the spiritual side, because I find that usually works. If you want to learn more about how to approach any type of issue from a spiritual perspective, let me encourage you to go to the website for my book. You'll see it right above my head, theprayerfreedombook.com. And just check it out. There's some great information there. It's a process. It explains what's going on. You can actually watch live videos as I'm leading people through this process and see them totally getting rid of 26 years of anxiety and depression, 15 and 20 years of chronic pain, and all kinds of stuff. It's really amazing because every single one of those things doesn't seem like it would have a spiritual root behind it, but every single one of them did. And you'll enjoy that a lot. So I encourage you to just go to the website and check it out. And before you leave, I want to also encourage you to just put in the comments, what's the most helpful thing that you learned from this video? Love to hear that from your comments. If you like more information like this, please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching and be very blessed.